Hello, and thank you for exploring Lakehead International's videos. My name is Jordan, and I am the International New and Social Media Officer. I'm also the host of the Lakehead International Live series, a fun and informative way for you to connect with current international students, professors, and ask questions about admissions and everything Lakehead. You are about to watch a recording from one of our previous live sessions. If any questions arise throughout the video, please do not hesitate to comment below. If you would like to check out some of our upcoming live sessions, please head over to our website at lakeheadu.ca/international-live. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to another Lakehead International Live. My name is Jordan Ball. I'll be your host today. Of course, we're joined together to chat about the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities here at Lakehead University. I'm joined by a few special guests here from the faculty as well as some of my colleagues from international enrollment. With that being said, before we get started, we'll do introductions and then we'll chat about some of our exciting upcoming events, as well as our agenda and some housekeeping notes. So once again, my name is Jordan. I am the International New and Social Media Officer. I help run our live events, our digital experiences, our social media channels, and our Global Ambassador Program. We also have, my apologies, Hector, my colleague, not Patrick Card, but Hector Michelena. So I'll pass it over to him to introduce himself.
Thank you, Jordan. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. My name is Hector Michelena, and I'm one of the international recruitment officers here at Lakehead University. And my main role is to help prospective students like you find the right program at Lakehead and guide you through the admissions and the application and admissions process. So I'm happy to answer any questions that have to do with how to become a Lakehead student. And yeah, thank you, Jordan.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today, Hector. I'll pass it over to Dr. Roth.
Hello, and thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Jenny Roth. I'm the Assistant Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, and I'm also Professor in Gender and Women's Studies.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. And next, I'll pass over to Dr. Donater.
Hello, I'm Alice Donater. I'm the coordinator for the Media, Film, and Communications program. I'm also an instructor in interdisciplinary studies and in English.
Awesome, thank you. And last but not least, I'll pass over to Dr. Kane.
Hi, everybody. I'm the chair of political science here at Lakehead. We run a political science program alongside a pre-law program.
So with Social Sciences and Humanities, it's your opportunity to join the next generation of global citizens in one of our engaging Social Sciences and Humanities programs. You will thrive in our dynamic and vibrant learning environment with small classes, high impact practices, and award-winning faculty who know your name and engage in your success. You also will have the opportunity to explore the diversity of human experience across time, place, and investigate the ways in which meaning is made and how our worldviews are represented, as well as how new ideas take hold and shape us in our world. Something that we're also very proud of is the fact that we are recognized as the top 10 primarily undergraduate universities for social sciences and humanities research. And so I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to chat about research today and some of the various ideas and processes and projects that we could complete or you could complete as a future student. I'm going to pass it over to the faculty to see if they would like to add to the overall idea of the faculty or the high-level overview at least.
Jordan, if I may, I would just add as well that in addition to social sciences and humanities, we also offer programming in the arts. So we do have visual arts and music in addition to traditional humanities and social sciences disciplines.
Awesome, yes. And I actually, as a proud graduate of Lakehead University, I'm an alumni of the Honors Bachelor of Commerce. I had quite a few electives within social sciences and humanities. And so having that interdisciplinary studies, I'm sure that term specifically you might hear quite a bit during this session, but it's a really big one for us here at Lakehead University is the fact that you essentially, with your electives and through the flexibility of our programs, you'll be able to craft your own degree essentially. And so whether you and your best friend are taking the same degree, but carving your own path through your electives or the interdisciplinary learning that you're taking part in, It's really going to be able to help you build on your passions that you already have, and then hopefully help you in that next stage, whether it's going to that next level of education. So a professional school, law, medical school, or a graduate program. If you're an undergrad student, of course. If you're a grad student at the master's level, maybe you'll go into a PhD somewhere. Or if you're ready to enter the career field like I was. And so that's actually a good segue into our next slide, which is our chat about double majors. And so, oh, pardon me, got a little click happy there. So double majors at Lakehead University are possible, specifically within social sciences and humanities. There's several programs that have options where you can pursue two majors at the same time. A double major or combined honors program permits more thorough interdisciplinary exploration of the appropriate themes. I'm going to pose the question to our three panelists from the social sciences and humanities. And I would love to hear sort of your input or your feedback. Why, in your opinion, is it so important to study more than one major in a humanities course? I know I may have stumped you. I'll pass it over to Alice.
I'd love to answer that. Because these courses are so much interrelated. If you're an English major, for example, it's so important to understand something about history, something about political science, something about sociology, psychology. All those things intertwine in our lives. And when we approach real world problems, they're usually not problems that can be addressed from just one perspective. So even climate change, for example, you don't just want the chemists working on that. You want your policymakers, you want your thinkers, you want your filmmakers. All kinds of people need to contribute to those large problems. And so the more we have a breadth of knowledge, the more we are prepared for any jobs that come our way.
Awesome. I'll add to that also and say that, of course, in your interdisciplinary learning and also just working in group work within class, with classmates, I should say, will prepare you for the future. So of course, in most roles or most careers, you won't be doing it in individual or solo. You will always have to work with someone else. And I really liked, Alice, your mention of climate change as a perfect example of, it's not just the science majors that are focusing on what is happening to the environment and what does that look like in an analysis perspective. It is those policymakers that are hopefully creating change for us and making a better world for the future generation. And so being able to work cohesively with people from other majors, other disciplines is critical. Yes, I'll pass over to Jenny.
Thanks very much. Yeah. And I mean, just to build on what Alice has said, one of the things that a degree in the social sciences and humanities does for you is it allows you to begin to work on and engage in those social issues, some huge ones that we're facing right now internationally. And in that, I mean, context is everything. And the more perspectives you can get working on those pieces, the broader your view, the better able you are to take an international approach, to take a number of different perspectives, to work with different interest groups and stakeholders and shareholders. I would add as well that in addition to the double major, we also run a number of specializations and concentrations within the faculty. So there are many creative ways that you can build lots of different interdisciplinary pieces. We also offer minors, of course. So yeah, just to add those pieces.
Awesome. And I'll add on to that for our viewers that may not know, for a minor, a major, a specialization, and concentration, those are actually formal recognitions of your commitment to that one subject area, or for a matter, multiple subject areas if that's your choosing. And so of course, then you can take that and use that, whether it's on your CV or built into, hopefully you've been able to mold that path, that education that really speaks to your passions. So next, we're going to chat about our undergraduate programs first, and then we'll chat about our graduate programs. And so here's a full list of the undergraduate programs just within social sciences and humanities. Like I said, we have over 85 academic programs here at Lakehead University across 10 faculties. But today our focus is on social sciences and humanities, and we're lucky to have 3 representatives from a few of these areas. That's not to stop us from answering questions about any one of these programs though, so I encourage our audience, if you do have questions, please don't hesitate to ask us. Once again, I won't read the programs on the screen right now, but I'll pass it over to our faculty once again to maybe chat about the broader offering of these undergraduate programs. And then if they would like to highlight their own program just briefly, I'd be happy to welcome that. Yeah, Jenny.
I would just like to speak very quickly to the Lakehead Arts 1 program that you see there, simply because of course, we would love it if everyone came in knowing exactly what it is they want to do with the rest of their lives. But just to highlight that as it's sort of the incoming undecided option that the faculty offers. So if you're not sure what you want to take, you can come in through Lakehead Arts 1, where you then in your first semester take a wide variety of courses and work with someone usually from the dean's office who would help you to decide where you're going to go then in terms of your honors and your major moving forward. So that's just one that might not make a lot of sense if people are used to these names. So I wanted to highlight that.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, I'll pass it over to Alice.
And can I add to that, that interdisciplinary studies does the same thing. So we often get students who will say, I don't really know what to choose. I love history and I love English and I love criminology and I don't know what to do. And my advice in a situation like that is to try something like interdisciplinary studies, where in the major you're taking 2 areas of specialization rather than just one major. And as well, you have the opportunity to do minors on top of that. So we do have some students doing a specialization, let's say in history, and one in political science, and then they're doing a minor in criminology or media, film, and communications. So you can really capitalize on all those areas if you want.
Awesome. Thank you for mentioning that. I'll also chat briefly about our one-of-a-kind program, which is outdoor recreation, parks, and tourism. We have a dedicated slide coming up, so I don't want to take away from that slide, but the mention here is the fact that this program is so heavily involved with the nature that surrounds our Thunder Bay campus. And so we are very fortunate to be able to access nature within a matter of minutes on either one of our campuses. But for this program, that connection to nature and being here in Thunder Bay makes it that one-of-a-kind program, because you can't get that in a large city per se, without having to travel at great distances to get to some of these natural classrooms, as we like to call them. And I'll speak more to that in a second. But first, we're going to chat about now graduate programs. So we have 4 graduate master's level programs, as well as a specialization, which brings up to 5 essentially. And so the top 3, English, history, and social justice studies, they also offer course-based options. So what that means is you can pursue what traditionally is seen as the traditional path, which is a thesis, where you'll be looking into that focusing on a study and writing about that one topic, whereas course-based, of course, works with your faculty to actually fill your schedule with courses that will satisfy the overall master's degree requirements. And so we know that many students will prefer course-based over the thesis-based, but we're happy to explain more, chat more if you're sort of on the fence whether or not to go down the thesis route or the course-based route. Our faculty are more than happy to chat with you, especially our coordinators of these programs or the program chairs themselves. I know for a fact that they're always excited to chat with prospective students to help them in understanding what is going to be the next step, whether it's going to be that thesis, whether it's going to be course-based, and then if it is that thesis, what's the topic we're going to be looking into, what's our research area. Jenny, I'll pass it over to you. I know that coming from gender and women's studies, you may want to speak about the specialization here as well.
I was actually going to speak about the practicum option as well in social justice studies. And the creative option in English. I think Alice probably would know a bit more about that. But I mean, in addition to traditional research thesis and course-based streams, social justice studies offers students the opportunity to do community-based practicum master's stream. And I know English does some absolutely fabulous creative projects come out of there that I've been lucky enough to supervise one of them over the years. The Gender and Women's Studies specialization is available in conjunction with a home unit. So it's not a standalone program, but it does allow you to do a master's, say in English or sociology, along with a focus on gender and women's studies, if that's the path that you're thinking your career will take you in the future.
Awesome. Alice, I'll pass it to you if you have anything to add for English. If not, no worries.
No, just that some of the creative writing options have community service learning as part of them.
Awesome. And you'll hear that a lot with Lakehead University, our connection to our communities. We're in what would be considered in Canada smaller communities. So Thunder Bay has a population of over 110,000, whereas Aurelia has a population of over 30,000. But being that we are major institutions within our communities, our connections to community partners and organizations and research centers, institutes, all that are quite prevalent in our connections as well as our opportunities available to students. And so those are not just limited to science-based programs where you think, oh, I'll be going into a lab. No, we partner with law firms, we partner with shelters, we partner with community centers and community organizations to offer a really broad range of opportunity for our students. So whether it is something that you're doing directly within your program or something that your professor, your instructor has set up for you, or something you've looked out and looked into on your own, there's plenty of opportunities within our community. So it's definitely an exciting thing to explore, to say the least. With that being said, we are going to do a couple program highlights. I'll kick things off with our outdoor recreation, parks and tourism highlight. I know I mentioned that I was going to do this. So in support of Lakehead University's commitment to educating students who are recognized for leadership and independence, critical thinking, and who are aware of social and environmental responsibilities, the School of Outdoor Recreation, Parks and Tourism is able to provide our students with theoretical, applied, and practical study in all aspects of outdoor recreation. We also promote shared responsibility for learning and research. We undertake research on natural-based recreation, parks and tourism. We also support a broad scope of activities from local to international scales, including Indigenous and multicultural perspectives. And like I said, we have the perfect natural environment and outdoor classrooms surrounding our area to study the subject. And so this photo on your screen, you can see some of our outdoor rec students actually doing some ice climbing. And I must say that they're quite brave to be doing that, but this is a guided experience. And so for our students, we probably know that you're going to come in with no experience of ice climbing prior to this. But that shouldn't be a hesitation point where you say, oh, maybe it's not for me. This is something that we'll teach you how to do. And this is just adding to the classroom experience, tying into that theoretical knowledge you have and gaining some practical skills, while also building an incredible bond and hopefully long-lasting friendships with your classmates and ideally your professors too. Something we like to talk about being a small university is that our professors strive to learn everyone's name. And it might not always be the case. You might have a professor who doesn't know every single person's name if they have a lecture of 50 students. But across the board, our student to faculty ratio here in Thunder Bay is 15 students to 1 professor, and in Aurelia, it's actually smaller at 13 to 1. And then our average class sizes. So 90% of Lakehead University's classes are less than 60 students, and 60% of our classes are less than 30 students. I can speak to my experience in business, but I can also reference other graduates and other friends of mine where a lot of their seminar classes, a lot of their third and fourth year classes have actually dwindled down to small groups of upwards of 5 or 10 or 15, but it allows that really great opportunity to have intimate conversations with your classmates and your professors and get to know everyone a little more one-on-one, but also have an opportunity to share your opinion and speak and share in that learning environment. So if you're in a lecture hall of 300 plus students, it can be intimidating, to say the least, to raise your hand and want to ask a question or add a point to the argument or the topic at hand. But after 3 years together, 4 years together, when you're in a classroom of 10, 15 students, I can assure you that your classmates and hopefully you are going to share in very impassioned conversations. So next, I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Kane, who's going to chat about political science.
Yeah, we offer 2 main lines in our political science program. First line is the traditional political science degree, in which we study politics and government. And so most students who take that program are interested either in working in the government or in some area related to the government, whether it's an international organization or even a business in terms of doing intergovernmental relations between businesses and the government. But primarily students who enter our program are interested in working in government. And so we look at how governments work, we look at different models of governance, and we discuss how politics works as well. And so we both look at structures and forms of government, but also we get into the interesting arguments and debates that happen now and have happened throughout history about questions of justice, questions of community, how to best form communities, how to best live together and flourish together as human beings. And so the subfields of political science, if you're not familiar with it, firsthand are national governance, so how countries govern themselves. And we look at a number of different countries from Canada where we're centered, but also countries throughout the world. And then we also look at the international politics as another subfield, and comparative politics. So those two sort of go hand in hand. International politics studies how countries interact with each other on the international stage, and the values and principles, and sometimes the not so nice things that guide them when they do that. And comparative politics also looks at the international arena, but more from the perspective of comparing what different countries do when faced with different situations. So we often talk about comparative public policy. Is there a best way to provide healthcare? What can we learn from other countries that are doing this? What can they learn from us? Is there a better way to do these things? And then finally, political theory. Political theory looks at the fundamental questions underlying all those areas. So questions like, what is justice? Questions like, how should human beings organize together in order to make sure people of the community flourish? And so those are the kinds of the things that we study in the traditional political science program. We also offer a pre-law degree within the political science program. So you graduate with a political science degree, but also a pre-law designation. And most of the students in that program are interested in pursuing a career in law. And some of them do that directly. They go get law degrees, and we place students every single year in universities across Canada and in the international arena. We've also placed students. Most of our students are interested in staying in Canada, but occasionally we have people that study law elsewhere. And we've gotten students into law schools that are top ranked in Canada. For example, Osgoode Hall is often the top ranked law school in the country. I think we've gotten several students in there in the past few years, so we're fairly proud of that. And other students take the law degree and then work indirectly. They may work as a diplomat, working on issues like international law. And so there's a variety of degrees. And I guess I'd add this about all the social sciences and humanities degrees, that they're just, unlike, say, an engineering degree, where if you go get an engineering degree, you're going to be an engineer. Social sciences and humanities degrees give you a broader background in a variety of topics. And so if you decide you don't want to be an engineer and you have an engineering degree, you kind of have to start over in many cases. You're not sure where to go. But a degree like political science or many of the other social sciences degrees equips you to really be able to transfer those skills across a large variety of careers. And that's why most studies show that people that have a background in social sciences or humanities tend to do very well in the workplace in terms of getting promotions and being able to move laterally and move up in whatever career they choose. So we're proud of what we do here in political science, and we're excited to be part of Lakehead going forward.
Awesome. I'm certainly happy to hear that myself, because I took a few courses within social sciences and humanities. So hopefully that will help me in my own career journey. But I know that some of the other things that majors within political science have gone on to be is lawyers, as you mentioned, diplomats, business leaders, civil servants, politicians, lobbyists, political analysts, journalists, teachers. Those are just a few career paths, to name a few. At the end of today's webinar, we will chat about career opportunities I'll preface it's by no means an exhaustive list. I think that's on the tail of your mention that with a social sciences and humanities degree, if you had an idea of pursuing one career path, there's opportunity and flexibility to change that in a moment's notice, essentially, and reflecting and leaning into those interdisciplinary skills. On that note, though, I'll pass it over to Alice, who's going to kick things off with a double header. She'll first chat about media, film, and communications, and then we'll dive into criminology after this.
Thank you. So Media, Film, and Communications is a unique program that combines both theory and practice. So we offer classroom and experiential learning about media, film, and communications, as well as hands-on digital media labs with a special emphasis on film and video production. The uniqueness of our program is derived from our small classes, the internship program, your fourth year creative research projects, and our annual media arts showcase. The class sizes can range anywhere from 10 to 55 students. And again, in first year, you'll be in with a larger class. That's not because slowly people lose interest in media, film, and communications by their fourth year. It's because in our first year, you'll have students who will be taking introduction to media, film, and communications, introduction to production courses, introduction to visual media. And those students will be from all over the university. So some of them will be English majors or psychology majors or geography majors, and they'll all come together in those first year courses. And by the time you're in fourth year and you've got a small class of 10 students, you will be really completely working with a cohort of students who are working on their major in media, film, and communications. So with those small class sizes, I just want to emphasize that, again, you're receiving a lot of direct input and interaction with the instructor and also with your peers. But it helps you build your skills much faster than in larger courses. It's an inclusive and stimulating atmosphere, and our instructors are very approachable. They are also world-renowned media analysts and media producers. We have several instructors who have won film awards for their own productions. For production courses, you will begin to acquire facility in industry standard platforms. So we're very aware of what the industry in media requires. You will become familiar with the Adobe Creative Suite, as well as DaVinci Resolve, Audacity, and whatever software programs are currently being developed. You can use your mobile media devices, your smartphones and so on for some production assignments. And we also have a modest selection of video cameras, microphones, sound recorders, lights, green screen, etc., that you can borrow from the library. Building on those production courses, we have internship options. So every student is entitled to up to 2 internships. Each one involves 12 weeks with 5 hours per week. And those internships give you experiential learning opportunities in real workplaces at placements such as Rogers Television, Laura Joy Photography, Aurelia Museum of Art and History, the Aurelia Opera House, Sharing Place Food Bank, and so on. Fourth year students often are hired as research assistants. And that's something that you would not have an opportunity to do in a larger university because that's where they hire graduate students for research assistantships. But here, if you're in fourth year, sometimes even third year, you can have that opportunity to work closely with a professor on their research projects.
Also, I'll jump in here, and I just want to add the fact that with those internship opportunities, we've also seen success in students being able to secure part-time and even full-time employment post-internship. And so a good example was a student I recently interviewed in another project of mine, and she had done 2 internships with Rogers TV. one internship with Rogers TV, and then she did one with, I believe it was with the Aurelia Opera House, but she was able to stick on with Rogers for multiple summers and then part-time throughout the school year. And then by the end of sort of her career within Rogers, she was leading productions. And so it's not often that you see someone that at that age or that young still in school leading productions, but they had given her that responsibility because she had been able to excel so greatly within that program and within that role too. I'll also pass back to you. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you for that. I just wanted to say that these internships really set you up well for your workplace after graduating. And I just want to add to that as well that graduates from the program, we've sent several to graduate school. A couple of them have been in the Masters of Social Justice program at Lakehead itself, but we've also sent several to various universities in the area.
Awesome.
Some also have received jobs in social media promotions or the culture industry. Some work as communication strategists in various organizations, and some run their own businesses or NGOs.
Awesome. And then we've also seen some students do postgraduate diplomas in the college stream within Canada. And with that, then they're able to more specialize their degree or their passion. So, I mean, like you mentioned, students that go right into the career field, they go into communications or social media, they can also go into that college stream and maybe gain that diploma where they can be a public relations officer. I mean, that's an intimidating role to say the least, in my opinion, but here I am hosting a live, so who knows what I could do one day. I think it's time we'll jump over to Criminology. I know that's another incredible program we offer here, and you help coordinate, so I'll pass it over to you again.
Okay, and once again, Criminology is interdisciplinary. We've actually developed both criminology and media, film, and communications through the interdisciplinary studies program. But criminology involves the study of crime, including victimization, criminality, and criminal justice agents and institutions, among other areas. The field includes perspectives from sociology, psychology, political science, and various other academic fields. And they all come together to shed light on various issues of social justice. At Lakehead University, you will have the option to major, specialize, or minor in criminology. And the major program in particular emphasizes a practitioner orientation. So that means that we're actually looking at what people do in the fields of corrections, law enforcement, social work, etc. With a variety of courses, we have things that introduce and familiarize students with the criminal justice system in Canada. And there are 3 thematic areas of focus that run throughout the program's course offerings. One is focused on social justice and human rights, one on law and legal institutions. In particular, there's a course that we offer that runs through the political science department called criminal law. And then there's a 3rd area as well, focused on forensic science and criminalistics. And if you wanted to know a couple of courses from the program, we've got several that are called youth crime, cybercrime, forensic psychology, criminal profiling, policing, death investigation, and a wide variety of other innovative courses. So once again, our class sizes are quite small. Our largest classes are anywhere from 60 to 80 students. And the smaller classes, again, are about 15 to 20 students, usually in upper levels. That intimate learning environment facilitates a close and interactive student experience from first year on, providing you with opportunities to easily acquaint yourself with professors in the program and become involved with their research projects. So in recent years, we've had projects dealing with surveillance cameras, police surveillance cameras, and students have participated in those projects as well. As a graduate, you would be well suited to pursuing a career in law enforcement, let's say policing or border security or corrections, institutions, or probation, social work, for example, victim services organizations or offender rehabilitation programs. Or you could apply for further schooling that would open up additional career opportunities, such as law school, teacher education, or graduate school.
Awesome. Well, thank you for chatting about that. I think you covered it beautifully, so I won't add to it. But next we're going to chat more about some of the unique learning opportunities. And so I have two features within this area. The first one here is actually the sailing expedition that our outdoor recreation parks and tourism students were able to participate. So 11 Lakehead students shaped their own grand adventure essentially when they planned and executed a 12-day sailing expedition on Lake Superior. This experience was part of an elective fourth-year course for students in outdoor rec that included the opportunity for each student to acquire the Competent Crew Sail Training Certificate by the International Sail and Power Academy. And Professor Tom Potter, who was able to share in this experience, said the students did everything, including an overnight sail where we navigated by traditional means only, backed up by modern electronics. And so I'll infer here and I'll say that they use traditional means by way of stars and astronomy to navigate Lake Superior. Along the way, students also conducted a variety of research projects for Lake Superior's National Marine Conservation Area and tours in Thunder Bay, including a safe harbor assessments, identifying Arctic alpine disjunct plants and invasive species monitoring, as well as shoreline cleanups, and the production of educational and recreational videos. On that note, this is actually a screenshot from one of those very recreational videos. And so it was really interesting and exciting to share in that journey, whether it was watching, I think it was like 10 minutes maybe, but just seeing all the exciting things that they got to do, the late night swims, the sunset swims, jumping off the boat when they're docked at a harbor. I mean, it had me envious that I wasn't in school anymore and that I didn't partake in a program or a course like this. But this just goes to show you how they were able to take the theoretical learning that they had developed over the previous 3 years in outdoor rec and actually apply that knowledge and gain an elective, first of all, an entire credit or half credit, I should say, for this expedition that, like the professor said, they had done everything for. Another very unique learning opportunity we offer here is the Juried Student Art Expedition, which our Department of Visual Arts hosts annually. All students are invited to submit studio coursework to exhibit here in Thunder Bay. And so we typically host at the Thunder Bay Art Gallery. During COVID, we did a virtual showcase, and I know that we hope to return to an in-person feature in the future. This event is very unique to Lakehead University and celebrates the high quality of our students' art that is produced as a part of their programs and their coursework. Artwork is chosen by a jury of visual art instructors and later installed at the art gallery, like I mentioned, for a 5-week exhibition. The opening night includes awards and celebrations with over $7,000 in achievement awards presented to students for selected artwork in the exhibition. So it's not only an amazing opportunity and a great showcase to all of the work that you've put in over the many months leading up to this, but in some cases, if you have done the most creative piece, the most unique piece, the most jaw-dropping piece, there's an opportunity here to also have a little monetary or financial aid offered to you as a reward to your effort and your creativity, hopefully allowing you to then continue doing what you do best. And so I personally really love this. Again, I'm a business graduate, so I didn't get to participate in this. And that's for the best for the entire art exhibit that I didn't participate, but it is quite incredible to see. So for even our students that aren't in visual arts or don't participate in a course that would coincide with this opportunity, I encourage our students, any Lakehead student, to check it out and support your fellow classmates or students. On that note, oh, sorry, Jenny, I'll pass it over to you, and then we'll sort of wrap it up, but not really.
Thank you. Yes, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Those are fabulous examples of deep dive experiential learning. It's worth mentioning as well that every student who graduates from the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities will graduate having had at least one experiential learning opportunity. So we really do pride ourselves on the professionalization that happens within the faculty as students move through, and the ways in which students in every program can use what they're learning in a practical way and get that experience as they move forward.
I'll add on to that. Actually, it kind of brings up this broader idea that as you enter the next stage of your journey, so we're coming full circle essentially to what programs we offer, what's unique about those programs, and then we're going to chat about career opportunities. But the mention of the fact that every student participates in experiential learning opportunities also speaks to the fact that our students are able to network with folks outside of the classroom. And so you may have a core group of students or friends that all are studying or pursuing the exact same degree, but through those experiential learning opportunities, unique interdisciplinary learning opportunities, you are connecting with graduates and classmates in other courses, other degrees, but also that wider network of people that are hiring potentially. And so you might not think about it in first year that the person you interact with, the person you meet or do an internship could be your future employer after you graduate. But that certainly is the case. And we've seen that time and time again where our students make an amazing impression in their internship or their placement, whatever it might be. And then they're offered full-time employment right outside of graduation. Alrighty, so now we come to career opportunities. Again, I'll note this is by no means an exhaustive list of the opportunities. Otherwise, I would be here for days listing and reading from this, and I will not read from this because it's on your screen for that very reason. But some of the really cool ones I like to sort of highlight is the cultural arts director. And so if you have that vision for that broad scale cultural arts, all the different medias and assets that you can bring in, but also maybe you're a bit more business side oriented. So you like the management piece, you like organizing, you like meeting deadlines. That's what I think about when I think of business. That could be for you. Or if you have a passion for teaching a future generation, you can pair your social sciences and humanities degree with our teacher's education degree and study concurrently to become a primary school teacher or a high school teacher, and then guide the future generation, hopefully make an influence on them, and maybe they'll join our Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities one day too. There's translators. We offer language courses within social sciences and humanities. There's also web designers. That's a unique one that ties in both the humanities and the arts side, but also a very technical side in terms of coding and web development in general. So again, this is just to show you the wide variety of career opportunities that we've seen our graduates go into, but also the flexibility in terms of this shouldn't define where you're going to go either. On that note, I'll pass over to Hector, who's going to wrap things up with one of our outstanding alumni.
Great, thank you, Jordan. So yes, something that we usually like to do is to highlight what graduates or alumni have to say about their experience at Lakehead. So our participants get a chance to get a sense of what their experience at Lakehead would be like. So Vonnie Chang is one of our interdisciplinary studies international graduates from China. And in a recent testimonial, she mentioned that what she valued the most about her experience at Lakehead was the ease with which she was able to develop a close connection with faculty and fellow students that helped her feel more comfortable voicing her opinions while she was a student. She also mentioned that her interdisciplinary studies were invaluable in helping her develop the communication, analytical, and interpersonal skills crucial for her work, and highlighted that she's deeply grateful that she's for the personal connection, that she made during her Lakehead years, and that they have contributed significantly to the growth and strength of her business. So again, that's just a brief snippet of what her experience was like with us here at Lakehead.
Thank you for checking out today's video. If you have any questions, you can always comment below. Stay connected and follow us on our social media channels to stay informed about upcoming webinars and get an insider sneak peek of Lakehead University. See you next time.